Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a genuinely fascinating blueprint. It outlines some absolutely brutal, strict constraints for architecting a completely original AI-powered web application. If you've ever wondered what it literally takes to build modern software entirely from scratch, and I mean with absolutely zero templates allowed, well, you're definitely in the right place. Okay, let's dive into this.
Real quick, here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the rule of absolute originality. Then we'll look at building the technical foundation, outline the essential startup features, dive into designing the user experience, and finally wrap up with delivering premium quality.
All right, Section 1, the rule of absolute originality.
Now, anyone working in tech knows we rely heavily on templates, frameworks, and past projects these days, right? It's just how things are done. But get a load of this quote directly from the source material. Never repeat anything from previous generations. Wow, that establishes incredibly high stakes. Basically, every single time this architecture is generated, it has to be entirely disconnected from whatever came before it. No exceptions.
So, the crucial point here is this 100% unique constraint. You can never, ever reuse previous designs, code structures, or even color palettes. Developers literally have to treat this as a brand new startup every single time. We're talking about inventing a unique project name, a completely original logo concept, and building a fresh identity inspired purely by modern AI trends.
Okay, moving right along to Section 2, building the technical foundation.
When absolutely everything has to be original, you might be wondering, what tools are you actually allowed to use? Well, the blueprint outlines a very traditional core stack: PHP for the backend, MySQL for the database, along with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. On the surface, sure, that looks pretty standard. But hold on, because there's a massive architectural twist coming.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the concept of a self-contained architecture. The source explicitly mandates keeping all your CSS and JavaScript entirely inside the PHP files. Let me repeat that. Zero external style sheets or JS files are allowed. No way around it. This is a genuinely brutal constraint. It forces an incredibly rigorous coding style, meaning you have to build a rich, interactive web app without the luxury of nice, separate asset files. The whole shebang has to live and breathe right inside those PHP files.
And to prove this completely unique code actually functions, you can't just build an empty shell. The blueprint requires generating a fully fleshed out MySQL database. Looking at these columns, user ID, AI prompt, AI output, and timestamp, you can see that you have to actively populate the database with realistic sample data just to demonstrate the app in action.
Let's jump to Section 3, essential startup features. So how do we take this from a raw database and heavily constrained code into a product people can actually use? Well, the blueprint demands a full user journey right from day one. You've got to build out complete authentication, sign up, log in, log out, forgot password, all of it. Then, users need to land on an interactive dashboard with profile management. Under these extreme constraints, this basic functionality isn't just a nice-to-have, it's absolutely non-negotiable. But hey, it doesn't stop at just logging in. Modern users expect a lot out of the box. The source mandates full search functionality, user notifications, application settings, and even an admin panel. Keep in mind, aspiring developers have to build all of these advanced features entirely from scratch, with zero templates, locked completely within PHP files. Pretty wild, right?
All right, Section 4, designing the user experience. Pivoting away from all that heavy back-end logic, we really need to look at the front end. And this brilliantly illustrates one of the toughest creative challenges in the entire document. Every single page must have a completely different layout, but at the exact same time, the entire app has to maintain a consistent design language. Think about that tension for a second. You're making every page visually unique so it doesn't get repetitive, but you absolutely cannot break that brand identity you just invented.
To pull that off, the blueprint demands premium UI elements. The site has to be fully responsive, packing smooth animations, modern cards, beautiful forms, and of course, mobile-friendly navigation. So even with those extreme back-end constraints and absolutely zero external CSS files allowed, the front end still has to look and feel exactly like a high-budget premium AI product.
Which brings us to Section 5, delivering premium quality.
Now, let's talk about the invisible standards. Because this is a self-contained PHP application with no external files, your code could very easily turn into a giant tangled mess.
That's exactly why the blueprint explicitly demands that all written code must be incredibly clean, secure, highly professional, and well-commented. Impeccable code hygiene and strict attention to security are just absolutely paramount here.
And that leads us to the ultimate mandate from the source material. Every response must feel like it was created by a different professional software company from scratch. That basically summarizes the entire goal of this explainer, this relentless pursuit of total, uncopied originality. It means shedding everything you've ever done before and building a totally new digital ecosystem inspired by modern AI trends every single time.
It's such an incredible mental exercise in software architecture. So I'll leave you with this. If you were handed these exact constraints right now, forced to build a fully unique AI startup from scratch today with 0 external files and absolutely 0 templates, what would it be? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I really hope this sparks some ideas for you to start building your own original projects.